I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome to 80 Days. This is a game created by Inkle Industries Incorporated. I forget exactly what it was. It's based off, I believe, a Jules Verne novel, Around the World in 80 Days, which spawned, a bunch of movies and all that. And, yeah. I played this game a couple times before, but I haven't played it in a while, and I thought it would probably be interesting to hop in and give it a try. For a test drive. So, we're going to be, starting off in London. Now let's begin. So basically the goal of the game is to make it around the world in 80 days. My master has returned home from Reform Club with a strange gleam in his eyes. "Passepartout," he said, "we're going around the world. Pack my hunting rifle and my evening jacket. This is not a moment to waste. You, Passepartout, now have funds." Very nice. So, we can pretty much only go for, so, let's see if the... Do we really need a rifle? I don't think we don't need a rifle, do we? Alright, so we got the timetable, which for the trains, which is gonna help us out help us figure out where to go. So there's only one place we can go. So let's shit, we only have 10 minutes, so let's head to Paris. Alright, so the goal of the game is to get it from London, go around the world, and go back to London in 80 days. We left aboard the 825 from Charing Cross as the final whistle shrieked its warning. Our journey had begun. Yeah. Let's converse. "Greetings, Monsieur Van. Passepartout, did you say your name was? What a curious appellation. I'm very interested in Paris. This city's still recovering from siege, I think. Paris to Nice. You've mentioned trains. I've been told one can travel aboard the Trans-Siberian Express from Moscow to Kemerskaya. The fare is nearly £2,000. What can you tell about Kemerskaya? Oh, really, Monsieur? But answer me this. Tell me, what is this journey of yours? It's a wager. A wager, Monsieur, nothing more. A wager! What a marvelously simple way to motivate an adventure. Can you tell me about this? And they say the only bank in Kemerskaya has gone bankrupt. We go to Beijing? I believe so. How about from there to Pyongyang? My good man. The fastest way to Pyongyang is from here? From here is via Irkutsk. Alright. There's a Trans-Siberian Railway. Alright, so yeah, you're supposed to get around the world in 80 days, and there's a bunch of shit that can happen on the way, which is interesting. And it makes it pretty replayable and fun. The Amsterdam Express rattled along the narrow gauge rails to Dover, where its fins extended and plunged directly into the channel. Monsieur Fogg made no remark as the dark water pressed against our windows. I thought it so marvelous at the time, but how many marvels were still to come? Splash up onto the rails at Calais, and close the remaining miles to Paris Gare du Nord quickly. According to today's paper, Monsieur Fogg remarked, the Orient Express now runs as far as Bucharest. Very well then. Yeah, it does. Just want to check on that. Alright, so we can explore, go to the bank, or go to the market. So, there are no departures today, so let's explore. Now we can go to Amsterdam. The Exposition Universelle sprawled over the grounds of a purpose-built Palais du Champ de Mars. Hot air balloons sailed gently across the sky. and the powdery light of a Yevlichov candles gleamed invitingly. Now we can choose what we want to do. I was flooded with memories of a siege of Paris, and my own small part in it. It was hard to believe that only a year ago I had been blockade runner on the balloon post, which smuggled letters and communications over Prussian forces by hot air balloon. Before my first run, an elderly artifactor with a copper lily pin gleaming upon her collar explained how to operate the burner valves and vents, and how to read the wind currents by splitting in the air. I'd masked my terror with arrogance. It gave her a cocky grin, which roused only a painful sigh in response. Alas, as an artifactor, I cannot involve myself in matters of war, she said, flatly, adjusting the lie of her copper lily pin. But you, poor boy, only wish to take this package of love letters to your sweetheart at Pointers. I understand you, Madame Artifactor, remarked slyly. She continued grimly, helping to unload another parcel of photographically reduced military documents and strategic communiques into the balloon's gondola, am taking pity on a poor love-struck boy caught in the midst of war. Back then, I thought we would prevail. We would have to. That the other nations of the world would send aid. That our battalions in Loire would triumph and march into the city. I had thought our courage could starve off thirst and hunger and cholera, as well as Prussian guns. But Paris had surrendered. In the next month, the Prussians rode their horses through the city in victory, while we ate Bismarck's grain and meat, as promised in the armistice. I looked at the gleaming, peaceful streets of Paris now and saw only war and siege. I snatched Prussian airships, there we go, from the air, and muted the sound of artillery. I resurrected Paris of my childhood, its gaily lit cafes and dark catacombs, its boulevards and gutters, its poets and radicals, its dark-eyed youths with whom I danced and kissed on the banks of the Seine. I promised myself then that is how I would remember Paris. It's how I remember my city, even now. Alright. Let's stop at the market real quick. Is there anything... not really. Alright, where are we going? We could go to Bucharest. Yeah, let's go to Bucharest. Oh shit, we only have a few minutes. So, let's go. We boarded the Orient Express at 1825 from Paris West. The train was extremely fast. It could sweep us across the whole of Europe, at least as far as Bucharest, where the line to Istanbul was still undergoing connection. A last long whistle blew, and we began our journey east. Now let's converse with someone. Greetings, bonjour. Bucharest. What can you tell me of it? This is... Istanbul? I doubt it. Have you ever been to Bordeaux? Indeed. Excellent. I'm hoping to honeymoon there. Perhaps you could help me. You're useless. Get out of here. Alright, so... stopping through Munich. My master wished to be undisturbed, so as we left Paris, I left him and went to explore the train. I went to... I forgot that shit. There was a delightful dining car and an observation deck formed by replacement of an entire compartment with an open glass cube. I stopped there, watching the scenery flash past. And as I stood, a portly gentleman with a quivering, luxuriant mustache struggled by carrying several trunks. I offered him my aid, and he introduced himself as a show of thanks. Henri de Bleuwitz, a foreign correspondent of the Times. I introduced myself in return. My name is Passepartout. My master and I are going around the world. And I wish you luck, he replied. He patted his breast pocket. The stories you hear, it seems everywhere, is on the brink of one revolution or another. Everywhere there is progress, who will count the cost? That sounds most ominous, I told him. Does it? He replied with a beaming smile. Well, I am a journalist. It's my duty to make omens. Good day to you. With that, he clapped me on the shoulder and headed off in the direction of a dining car. I followed him and found a few groups of people talking quietly. I sat with DB333. We passed an awkward few hours as he drank his way through cup after cup of coffee and talked of nothing but his tailor. As we talked, I eavesdropped shamelessly on the other passengers, overhearing a conversation between a young composer and two Parisian ladies who, it transpired, were heading to the same concert in Vienna. I left them to be very useful flutters and returned to Monsieur Fogg, who, to my surprise, looked up from his paper at me. I told him of the observation car, but he showed no interest in its design or function. He was, however, interested in DB333. Could he tell you much of the journey ahead? He asked. Every detail may be important to us. I told him I would find out what I could in future. Either way, there was no more to be done that night. Alright. So it's kind of a dialogue-heavy game, but we stopped at Vienna in the early hours of the morning. The platform was guarded by mechanical soldiers in polished blue paint uniforms. Not like the look of them. I was most glad that we were not just parking there. The sun rose as the train departed. Painting the countryside in warm yellow light. A beautiful day for travel. Now let's wait. Phileas Fogg attempts round the world adventure. Hey, that's us. Yeah, there's a lot of reading in this game, so if you're not a fan of reading, you might have trouble with that. You might not like that, but hey. The next day was short, and we arrived at Bucharest before noon and without incident. But as we disembarked from the train, there was a loud commotion on the platform. A young man staggered across the concourse towards us, clutching something to his chest. I reached out to catch him. As his arms opened, he revealed a bloodied shirt in his hands, and hands covered in yet more blood. I caught him regardless, and he slithered down against me, smearing his blood onto my shirt. He looked up at me with wild eyes. Please, he murmured. Tell her they found me. With that strange message, he pressed something in my hand and fell to the ground. A swarm of train guards massed over him and was lost from view. We left as fast as we could, not wanting to become embroiled in what was most likely a political mess. Only once was I outside the station did I open my palm to see what the man had given me. A small cube of black glass. I pocketed it, though I had no idea what it was. Monsieur Fogg tapped his cane on the ground impatiently. Passepartout! I hurried to catch up with his stride. So we'll see if there's anything in Bucharest going on. Yeah, we're gonna have to explore Bucharest anyway in order to figure out if there's anything going on. So we can go to Thessaloniki or Odessa from here. Monsieur Fogg informed me that Bucharest was known rather wildly as Little Paris. It was certainly trying to make me feel at home, though my Frenchman's pride bristled a little at the comparison. I took a tram to the city center, which was modern in every sense of a word. Electric lights illuminated all but a handful of shop fronts and boyars' residents. Bozek cars sputtered oil fumes into the air, and vendors hawked all manner of little automata. Automata? I don't know. On street corners. A cunningly fashioned lamp in the shape of a lily proclaimed the local Artifactors Guild outpost. I pushed open the door and really began to cough from dust in the air. I looked at a dark-haired woman beyond far countered. She seemed startled by my appearance and narrowed in suspicion. C'est ça a hoot? I showed her the mysterious cube of black glass. Someone gave me this, I said, along with a message. The woman looked at the cube and then back at me, face impassive. This is nothing mechanical, she replied. It is clearly nothing to do with us artifactors. Then I will take it in the message elsewhere, I replied, curiously dropping the item back in my pocket. Wait, the woman said quickly. You are a stranger here. Give it to me in your message. Perhaps I can find who it is intended for. Mm. I shrugged and put the thing on the counter. She did not pick it up, but left it there flickering. A little, and light from gas lamps. And in the message, she asked? I told her what the man had said, how he felt bleeding from the chest, most likely stabbed, and the woman gasped, almost choking. Her eyes had flooded. All pretense was lost. Dead? She gasped. I knew they would spy for it, hunt for it, but to kill for it? I did not know they would do such a thing. Who are they? What is this thing? I demanded from her. But she only shook her head. Some knowledge is dangerous, my good man, she replied, wiping at her eyes. I would not wish to endanger you. What will you do now? She shook her head. Find another way. She answered. There's always another way. But are you in danger? Me? She considered that a moment. I do not think so. The guild protects its own, but this, and she took the black glass from the counter, this threatens all of us. I do not know what it is. I shook my head. This glass contains the worst weapon known to mankind. Etched with control patterns from Mozart Haydn device, the Austro-Hungarians have been developing a weapon of beautiful destruction. What does it do? I asked, but she shook her head. Decimates hearts and minds, she replied. It takes hope in life. It is terrible. And worse yet, we artifactors do not understand its workings. I will help you, I declared boldly. She laughed. This is a matter of importance to all the world, she said. No, it will not help me, and I will not trust you, but thank you for bringing this back to me. In that way, you have already helped. She wiped a tear from her eye, with a corner of her cloak, and sniffed. So are you traveling? She replied, voice shaking, but clearly not wanting to be alone yet. I envy you that. We're going around the world, I replied. As fast as possible, too. That is only a good thing. She nodded, then pointed to something at the back of a dusty shelf. There. The bag. Take it. What does it contain? I asked. On the side of the bag was inked a tall, column-like flame. It's a preparation of paraffin and crystalline oxygen. Will you be traveling by the Rosaire balloon? What's a Rosaire balloon? I asked. She shook her head with some amusement. A kind of hot air balloon, invented by Rosier. She pointed at the bag. Throw this in a burner if you do. You'll find the extra elevation will lead to considerable extra speed. I took the bag, gingerly but gratefully. The artifactor nodded. Passepartout, she added, if you truly wish to travel, find your way to Al Tabib in the deserts near Riyadh. We have heard of incredible things. I thanked her, and I took my leave of Steinberg and wished her well, with sincerity. A most extraordinary person. I walked back to Monsieur Fogg. The preparation of paraffin should fetch a good price in Baku. Should we decide to sell it there? So, I think I want to take her up on her offer to go to Riyadh. So it arrives Monday. Sunday. Perhaps we can negotiate. Ooh, yeah, we can wait. Yeah, alright, so we can pass the night. I took an evening stroll from a hotel through the main boulevard of Bucharest, Paduc Mogosulai. It was paved with small cobblestones, rather than macadam or asphalt, but it was lined with gas lamps in the latest German style. Gentlemen and ladies paraded their stylish sprung carriages up and down the avenue. It was undeniably charming, but no Champs-Élysées, no matter what Monsieur Fogg might think. Alright. Yeah, that's not gonna... Still no. Stop by the market. Let's buy this. Let's get some whiskey. Um, Beirut, Antalya, and... Might be stopping through Izmir, so recording might be worth grabbing so we can sell it there. I'll trouble you to not play that Demesian accordion in my presence again. San Francisco. A lot of routes we can go down, I'm noticing. Yeah. So, let's go back to the hotel. What remained of the day, I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning £55 in fees and tips, as well as learning that some buyers will pay well for evening jackets from Istanbul. Most intriguing. Alright. Let's go to Thessaloniki. Comfortable conditions. So, something you have to keep in mind is Munzer Fog is going to take some damage as you go, depending on the route. With, like, trains and such, you'll be fine, mostly. But, like, on, if you're going on rougher roads or boats, he's going to take some health. I think it's possible for him to die, but not generally. I think, like, if you're up in Siberia, he might die. If you take the Siberian route, at least. But we'll have to stop for a few days to nurse him back to health. And you'll lose time there, obviously. So, from Bucharest, we hired a Aiden to take us through the mountains and into Greece. Florin, the driver announced abruptly, sticking out his hand. I shook it, though it was covered in oil and engine grease. Get in, he said, jerking the bottom of the carriage. We did so. We began the process of igniting the boiler inside the horse. Is there any way to go faster? I asked. Can't flog a mechanical horse, he answered solemnly, as though giving me a piece of hard-earned wisdom. A fair point, I agreed. Then, he released the handbrake, and we began to crawl up the road. Let's converse. Just flowing? Alright. Changes. You mentioned trains. Go to Izmir. I believe so. Izmir can be reached from Istanbul by steam car, but it's slow going. What about Tehran? I'm sure I have no idea, but you can obtain hand-woven rugs in Tehran, which will sell for a fortune in Kabul. Alright, goodbye then. Well, Izmir isn't on the way, actually. I probably should have checked, though. That's not really relevant to us, I think. But, yeah. Meteor Valley. Relative sons watching forest pass by on our sides. Are these roads not prone to banditry? I asked, looking in tree-lined depths. Not bandits, Florin replied. Bears. And what do we do if we see a bear? I demanded. Speed up, he said, with every appearance of cheer. From the back, my master remarked, let's hope we see one. I could scarcely believe my ears. A jest! Yet when I had turned to look at him, his face was perfectly and utterly serious. Evening approached. We can drive on through the night, Florin said, or make camp and continue in the morning. Yeah, drive all night, I demanded. Very well, the driver agreed, and we tried to sleep as the car rumbled and rocked its way onward, through the dark, gaining us a few hours, and leaving behind any bears. It's not a comfortable ride for any of us, I think. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Now let's remove the fog. A shaped mustache. Excellent. So you're going to Greece, our driver asked when I woke up to find ourselves still moving. And then? Who knows? Like traveling then, do you? Yes. I know a man in Athens. Florence grumbled. He runs boats. Boats to where? Cairo, I think. Florence smiled. I don't like boats. How might we find him? At the docks, he replied, with pleasing little sarcasm. His name is Sophos. I'll put in a word for you when I talk to him tonight. Perhaps he could introduce us? Isn't exactly an open meeting, he said cryptically, and we left it at that. I do not think he was quite sound in the head. If he had a good route onwards, then perhaps it did not matter. A few hours later, we crested the last rise, and glittering Aegean Sea was on the horizon. We had crossed the breadth of Europe, with still a wide world left to travel. Could go to Cairo, actually. There's like nothing we can do, so... Can we negotiate now? Nah. Let's stay at the hotel, then explore Thessaloniki? The people of the city are crazy! They go out at evenings to tear down what remains of their city wall. I've never seen such a thing. Granted, it's not as though the walls will keep anything out. They encircle barely half a city and are easily scalable due to the quantity of rebels piled up this side and that. I stopped a young woman and asked what they were doing, but she only laughed in my face. You may not know our city now, she replied, not the least bit answering my question, but soon we will encompass the entirety of northern Greece. A mighty prize, I agreed in earnest, as she nodded wildly, for raising the sledgehammer she had brought along for the occasion. She set across the ancient walls once more. I stayed around and helped out, but I thought I got in the spirit. But though I got in the spirit of the action, I must be honest, I did not enjoy it. I am a gentleman's gentleman, and my handiwork is delicate. That hammer, yes. Let's explore a bit. New routes. We could go to Meteor Valley. I don't know why though. Seems like nothing really there. We might continue for our journey. You can't manage another case, can you? Passporto. That's about it. I think I'm actually gonna cut it here, guys. Well, we can skip like an hour. Press that. Gentleman's Traveler set. That'll sell for a lot actually, but yeah. This is 80 days. You can buy it on. Let's sell that then. You can buy it on the Steam page. I believe it's $10. I say it's worth it. It's a fun game. You really replayable if you're into playing games over and over again. I'd recommend checking it out. Yeah. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of my content in the future, I do first impressions, or at least one-off videos like this every Saturday, or at least I try to release them every Saturday. I also do strategy game videos, mainly Hearts of Iron right now, every Saturday. Not every Saturday, every weekday. So if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you have any feedback or comments or any suggestions for games to play for test drive, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get, and I appreciate any and all feedback you have for me. So, yeah. That's about it, guys. My name... No, wait. I'm forgetting shit. I'm sorry. I have a Patreon down link below. If you want to support me financially, I have some reward tiers that'll hopefully interest you. And I have a Discord that you can... Also, I have a Discord that you can join up if you want to chat, play games, or anything like that. So, if you want to do that, go ahead and join. Link for both of those is in the description below. That's it. My name has been Doggo33. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.